Okay, welcome back to my kitchen once again. What I'm going to do this evening is we're going to do a twist on a classic carbonara. I'm going to use some of the chicken left over from when I did baked avocado chicken. So I'm going to use that up before it goes off. And we're just going to do a sort of a chicken carbonara. So hopefully that's to your taste. We're going to try and keep it as low in fat as possible. A lot of the Italian creamy, rich, white sauces tend to be quite high in fat. We're going to reduce that by using, basically we're just going to use a skimmed milk. We're not going to put any butter in there, we're going to use skimmed milk, and I'm going to use one of the spray oils. Hopefully that's to your likings. If not, whoops. But if you do want to continue watching the video, then we'll bring you over to the kitchen so you can see what I'm about to do. See you in a minute. Okay, so it's a really simple recipe. We've got our linguini pasta, or you can use spaghetti. I'm going to put that in a pan with boiling water and a little pinch of salt, and we're just going to cook that through. Whilst that's cooking, we're going to get on with slicing the chicken and getting the flavours into the pan and getting that chicken started so it gets cooked through. So I'll just put this over and get this on the boil. So here's the frying pan we're going to use. I'm just going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should be plenty of squirts of the oil. Sit this over here. We're going to slice this chicken into some nice small thin strips. Nice and simple, just cut through it. About that sort of size. I mean, you can see the size, that's, what's that, roughly a thumb size? And I've got small hands, so small thumb size pieces. And it's not too thick either, you're just getting nice bite-sized pieces really. I don't really want any of these scraggly bits in. That's just my preference. I'm not a fan of extra bits of skin in there. So just literally have that sliced, put it straight in the pan. Get the next one ready. There's a nice marling of fat there. Brilliant for the flavours if you are cooking it and in the oven or something like that, but I like to remove those bits. That's just, again, that's personal preference. Do not feel you have to do that. I just prefer to remove bits and pieces like that because I'm a bit of a fussy eater and I just find it easier to get through a dish if I don't get random bits of fat in there. I'm not a fan of that. So that was nice and easy. There's 2 breasts all cut up, ready to go. So I'm going to get that on the go as well, on a low heat. Let me just switch these on a second. That's not So in here I've got a blend of parsley. Yes, I'm using parsley again. A really nice flavour. It works really well with the creamy sauces. Got a few chives, got some black pepper, I've got some salt, and I've got a little bit of dill. Just a nice blend of different herbs and spices in there. And we're just going to mix them all around together. Going to give a light dusting of that onto our grilling chicken, or griddling chicken, just to give that some flavour as it's cooking. I'm going to put a small amount of that into the water with the pasta. As you can see, I've got stuff left over which is going to go into our sauce mix. The sauce mix is really simple. What we're going to do is I'm going to get a big bowl. Haven't got a bowl to the ready, so I'm going to use a jug. Just wipe the chicken off of there. So into this bowl we are going to crack both of our eggs. 1 and a 2. We're going to add a splash of milk. This is skimmed milk. It's better for you. If you don't like skimmed milk, semi-skimmed is absolutely fine. If you don't like that, then by all means use the full fat. As you can see, we don't use an awful lot. Into this we're also going to put some garlic. So if you haven't got a garlic press, a really simple way of doing it is just slice off one end and make sure you get the outer layers away, so all that crispy outer layer you want to be taken away. This is a double clove, how great, even better for me because I love garlic. So that's fine. We're going to take off a little bit at the bottom, a little bit at the top. Same on this one. Put that to the side. What you can do with a large blade, just crunch it. Same with that one. That breaks it and gets all the juices and the flavours being released, and then you can just simply chop it nice and finely for putting in your sauce. Please be careful of your fingers when you're doing this. If you are going to be doing garlic quite often, I would recommend getting a garlic press, purely because you won't have garlic smelling fingers all the time. It's one of those smells that's really hard to get rid of. No matter how many times you wash your hands with soap, the garlic smell can linger quite a long time. Really simple way of getting rid of that is you can just get a stainless steel kitchen utensil like a ladle, and after you've washed your hands you use cold water and stainless steel and rub that all over your hands that have the garlic smell in them, and that will actually get rid of the smell. Don't ask me the science involved in that because I haven't looked into it, but it does work. But it must be stainless steel. So we've got them chopped up. I'm going to put a little bit to the side, but most of that is going in there with the eggs and the milk. That little bit that I've got to the side, I'm going to throw that in the pan with the chicken, and then the rest just into that blend there. In go all those herbs that I mentioned earlier. And what I like to do with my carbonara sauces is I like to put a touch of mustard. Doesn't need an awful lot. As you can see, I'm actually just picking the spoon straight out, and then I'm going to use that to blend it all together. It just gives a little hint of the flavour of the mustard to it. So we're just blending that all together. And what we're going to do is we're going to pop that into the fridge for now whilst we wait for the linguine and the chicken to catch up. So once that chicken's cooked through, you've got these beautiful brown colours happening, it's nicely cooked. Then you take that off the heat and set it to the side. By the time this is done, your pasta will be ready for you to strain. When you do strain it, you need to make sure that you save some of the pasta water, because you might need to use that in your sauce to loosen it back up, because it may become too thick. So we're going to set this to the side, and we're going to show you what to do next. So with that strained pasta, we're putting that straight back into the pan, keeping that heat that's in there, and then we are going to add our mix that we made earlier, the sauce mix, straight into there. But I've also got some of the lighter, or the light cheese that we're going to use. It's just a handful that we're going to put in there. Mix that around, and that goes straight in, and make sure you get that pasta nicely coated. The heat from the pasta will cook that egg and it will start to melt that cheese. That's what we want to happen. So you can see that starting to blend in nicely. You've got to keep it moving at this stage, otherwise you are going to end up with scrambled egg, which we really don't want. As you can see, this is actually quite a runny mix, so we're not going to need to use any of that pasta water that we put to the side. What we will do though is we'll return this to the heat ever so slightly, just to let some of that egg cook through and thicken it up. Alright, so that's thickened up nicely. You can see that it's still nice, there's a nice sauce, and it's not turned scrambled egg or omelette or anything of the sort. This is where, at this point, you can either put this onto the plate as is and put your chicken on the top, or I like to actually throw my chicken in and give it a good toss round in the sauce to get some of that beautiful flavour onto the chicken as well. So in it goes. Just give that a good old blend, making sure you get it nice and well mixed through, and then that's enough to serve two meals, possibly three to be perfectly honest, but two good sized evening meals you'll get out of this, no problems at all. So all we're going to do now is we're going to plate this up so you can see a finished product. That was hot. So here we go, just going to take a nice amount of the spaghetti, or in this case it's linguine, and then making sure we get some of that lovely sauce and some of those pieces of chicken. And there you have it. One very quick, very simple, fairly lightweight, creamy, rich Italian carbonara variant. I hope you guys enjoy that. I'm going to sit down and enjoy my dinner. I hope you guys too. If there's anything that you're unsure of, or if there's anything you'd like me to do, please leave a comment down below and we will hopefully get round to doing that in the future. So once again, thank you ever so much for joining me in my kitchen, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.